Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm gonna show you guys some more saws on time fractal and order flow. So when we look at this chart on Aster here, this is the plain naked chart. So now this is what most people are looking at, right? They're looking at price going up and down, right, on a lower time frame without understanding that it's a one candle that's being created on a higher time frame. Okay, meaning this move on a 23 minutes going down, 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 right? It may seem very, very bearish to most of the people that does not understand time and time fractals and candle formation. So if you start to study how candle forms on a higher time frame, such in this case, it's a weekly candle that I am tracking. Okay. So if you're tracking the weekly candle, first, you have to know this price where we stop exactly on the third 90-minute right here on Sunday on a weekly close, right? This was the weekly close. And then it's on the Sunday on the third 90-minute fractal inside of the third six, not able to fair value higher, right? High, higher high, lower high. And from that point, most people would just read price, right? Oh, price is failing. But for me, not that just price is failing a high, time is in line exactly as the price is failing this level. So I have double confirmation now. Whenever I'm trading, I have double confirmation with time now. So now look at over here. Takes out the high, no fair value higher exactly on the third 90-minute fractal, plus we're not able to fair value gap higher, right? That already tells me this is a sweep slash a false break to the upside, right? And it's right with the weekly close. So all those confluences will clearly tell me this was the weekly move closing. So last weekly candle closing out the high. So I'm already expecting a new open low if we want to go higher, right? Because if we now start a new open high, right, and take out the high and fail the high, then we will create a low and close, meaning having a bearish week. But we're doing the opposite in this case now, right? We done an open low with the new week. So come to here, what is that? That's your Monday, right? That's your now Monday open going into Sunday to Monday, right? So now from Monday, what do you get? Weekly open. That's your opening range for the week. Okay. The whole Monday range here, right? That's your Monday range, right? And then what comes next after the Monday range? Tuesday sweep. No fair value after the sweep. So this is the key focus again, right, guys? Right on time, finishing this fractal, you guys can see that we take out the low, but we aren't able to fair value lower. Again, time plus order flow, right? Just like up here, time plus order flow. Time plus order flow, right? Same thing down here. If you're just watching price, you can definitely just trade it just with price as well, right? Coming down to this point. But again, for me, I know that this is an exact Monday range. I'm not just guessing this low to be swept. That's the difference again of understanding your time fractals. You're understanding what this move down meant. You know this is a Monday range. You're not just sitting here thinking, oh yeah, we have this lows to take out, that lows to take out, maybe we take out this low. You're not just seeing the chart as in price. You're understanding each candle and what it's delivering to even make this price action on the lower time frame, right? So once you guys start to understand that portion, right, then you can now make a trade idea off of that. You know this is your weekly range. And you know we just manipulated the weekly range to the downside without fair valuing lower, taking out all the previous weekly lows. So the intention from here, again, is to see inversion plus new fair value in the market. This is what I teach, right? Order flow, whenever we fail to take out a low, or whenever we fail to take out a high, we take out the high and we're just wicking. Even a candle close could even happen. But if you pay attention and there's no fair value being created 2, 3 candles after the sweep itself, then that's going to be an actual sweep, right? Where you can expect other side fair value to be created. So same goes right here. If we're not able to fair value lower after taking out this time-based key level, right? Monday level, Tuesday, weekly open, low, then this gives me the perfect confirmation for me to look for a long bias. So this is why now I'll wait for a new fair value to confirm at this point, which you guys can see in the next candle, we print a fair value after not fair value. So this is what you guys want to see. If you guys want to see bullish order flow, you need to see first step sweep with no fair value, right? And once we can now not fair value lower, then your second expectation should be to see new order flow coming out of that level. But if you don't see the new order flow coming out of those levels, that's no confirmation. That could again lead into another low. But that's the key, to watch that new fair value to form. That gives you that confirmation that we can make that higher high at this point, breaking this previous first 6 high. All right, and once we break that first 6 high and make another higher high, now I'm already watching back into these previous liquidation levels. I taught you guys the previous lick, right? So now watch. That's the previous liquidated level. And where does the price come back into? Fair value plus this previous liquidation level. And again, what do we see? Time, third 90 fractal, coming down, open low, right? Right into the fair value plus the previous liquidation area, showing me again lining up time and order flow is not able to push at this time. So again, then what do I need to expect from what I just told you guys? A new fair value to the upside, right? And what do we see? New fair value plus a higher high to the upside. That again gives me a confirmation that we can take out all these highs plus potentially target the Monday range high, which is now the first 6-hour high that hasn't been mitigated plus the weekly open. And what do you guys see after that? We get another previous lick retest. Again, no fair value lower. Then what can you expect again? This is how I confirm to go higher each trade. Even if I'm in it from here, I'll be continuously watching for new fair value and a higher high. Because if I don't see new fair value and a higher high, that's when I would now close out my trade fully and exit and target the previous low. Because again, I understand if we're not fair valuing higher and if we're sweeping these highs, that means we're due for a retracement and we need to target the other direction to create other side fair value. And it's going to look for fair value to the other direction in the market, which now in this case, look at the fair value that we haven't taken right here. So it's going to look for all these lows and the fair value. If we couldn't fair value higher from this point, now giving you that pullback setup into the GP, into the GP, into the golden pocket, right? But then if not, if we're continuously fair valuing higher, like this example here, fair value with each high, we're fair valuing higher, right? Fair value. Again, another fair value. And we're holding these fair value, right? No break below. It's not able to fair value below a fair value. What does that mean? That means bullish order flow. That's what straight bullish order flow is. You don't have to sit here and guess. That is it holding here? Is it not holding here? Long as we're not fair valuing physically, gapping below this last fair value, it's already telling me that we're going to continue to take out the highs. And again, we have that draw, Monday range high plus the weekly open and the first 6 high, right? Which is that Monday range high. So for me, there's clear target to be taken if we are continuously fair valuing high. So now, what would I look for when we come up to these levels? How would I validate now if we were actually going to go higher from this point? Same question. So once we come back up to this level, what would I look for? New fair value breaking this high. We can't just come here and then have a baby light touch and then wick. The moment we do that, we create another equal high, then it will have another fat pullback to mitigate all the new fair values to the other side. Since we're not able to, this is the logic again, we're not able to fair value higher, then it's going to create new fair value to the other side to reach the previous fair value to rebalance. And then it will create new bullish imbalances off of that absorption and create new fair value if it's going to hold here. Right? Then we can take out the equal highs again with new fair value in the market. And then another scenario, now if we come up here and now we boom, dildo through, blast through, right? With new fair value above, it's offering more fair value above the previous high. Then again, what can we expect? We can expect the market to have a shallow pullback, right? Inside to this fair value and continue higher to your next target. This is now you look left and now you can see there's so many targets to the left now. So if we are able to clear this high with new fair value, then your next level becomes this previous high. Only then that's why you can't just sit here and guess that it will come here, right? You can't sit here and guess that it will just come here. You can have those targets, but again, it has to be validated first from current structure and current order flow to even know that if we can even come up here. And now let's go back to this side, right? The naked side without understanding the time fractal. So in this side, if we look at this chart, what do we see? Sweep of this high, no fair value higher. And again, the other side, sweep of this low and no fair value lower, right? So this will be just you trading liquidity to liquidity without just thinking too much, which is your basic, liquidity concept. But in my view, having those confluences, understanding those exact ranges to be taken out at those exact time shifts that I teach, and looking at these order flow gives you that complete edge that you're missing at these times. Sometimes it may be so looking bearish at this time. If you're not understanding it's actually time to switch, which when there is a time shift in the market, like at this point, there's a quiet literal time shift, right? This first 6 is finishing going into the second 6, and we're not able to actually fair value lower. So I'm looking at the sweep in the regular way, right? How everybody would see it. Plus, I'm understanding that there's not fair value below this low, which is another confluence on top of my head. And another confluence that I have is what? The time shifting, time is ending, and we're not able to push the order flow lower. That again gives me that third perfect confirmation for me to be like, oh, okay, that's going to be a low, and I can expect a new fair value in the market, right? With strong confirmation because I had the time confirmation plus the order flow confirmation, not just the structure or the order flow. So this is why I suggest you guys to understand time fractals and lining order flow together and understanding the sequence within each other, right? Together, combined, not separately. Same thing with structure and liquidity. You guys can't read structure and liquidity separately. It has to be together. And that's why I always validate my structures with order flow. I'm not just looking at candle closing above the highs. I'm looking at how did we close that high? Were we able to fair value with strong order flow closing that high? Yes or no? So I'm able to validate, oh, okay, this move up is actually a valid move up. versus, oh, this move up is half-ass move up with no fair value up, which I know it's going to get fully retraced. So I hope you guys found some nice information in this video. And if you guys fuck with the video, make sure to leave a like and give me a sub and let's run this shit up. Peace.